Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the mind of an Terry Smooth. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And what is anxiety? Now, for the most part, y'all know this video and this channel is about spirituality. So, I don't get too far into psychology and the physical terms for these things of that nature, because all of these things get derived from where our spiritual natures is at in some way, shape, or form. And I told you, right? All spirits expand and contract. And when you expand, that's a spirit going into a new space to develop new experiences, to develop new wisdom. When a spirit contract, that's when the spirit jumps into its south node type energy, where it goes back into a cell or a sphere or a realm of reality or a spaceship or a thought or feeling that it's more familiar with, because it might be scared of expanding into new territory in some way, shape, or form. So this is a spirit contracting. Now, like I said, we all have to do these things during the particular time that is going to be useful. Sometimes it's useful to contract. Sometimes it's useful to expand. You may be in an area where you're trying to expand, and all these thoughts and feelings that you are expanding, that you're creating as a spirit, might be too impactful to the other individuals, depending on what space that they are in, developing frequency vibrations within their life, aka circumstances and situations. So you might create an energy. If you're too expansive around the wrong crowd, you might have individuals start to feel like you're stepping on their toes, or you think you more of what you are in some way, shape, or form. So like I said, don't let nobody humble you, but you can bring yourself down and have forms of understanding. And that way, that's how you're contracting yourself. You're not expressing everything of who you are amongst the motherfucking, the swine. You're not expressing all your pearls amongst the swine. Therefore, you'll get ate up motherfucking dry. You're not expressing all your motherfucker internal liquid and light and fire and flame and waters, esoteric rainbow waters, to everybody in the external realm. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers will drink you dry, and you'll be motherfucking evaporated, dehydrated, motherfucking thirsty. You'll be every motherfucking thing. And then you'll be sitting back wondering, why the fuck do I feel like I'm in need in some way, shape, or form? Yeah, your monkey ass has got emotionally drained or spiritually drained, aka with your thoughts and your feelings, because that's what your spirit create, by some motherfucker esoteric parasite or some fucking vampire. You see what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. So let's talk about anxiety. Now think about all the times we all experience this. Is this a percentage level based upon your natal alignment or other things, or your upbringing, your experiences? Certain people anxiety levels is at a larger percentage level than others. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about that at this video. This video is just actually explaining what it actually means when you are actually experiencing anxiety. You see what I'm saying? Now, when you are experiencing anxiety, now I got that term in there, even though it's spelled differently, but just like exit, you know what I'm saying, existence, you know what I'm saying, externalizing, existentializing, whatever the fuck that motherfucking word, existentialist, or whatever the fuck that term is, and things of that nature. But for the most part, all of these are just representations of when a spirit create a form, the form has an expiration date. You know what I'm saying? And then when the spirit know how to make an exit out of that light, out of that form it went into, that information, once it figured it out, all the points, all the astrology, all the virtues and principles within it, then it will allow itself not to get attached to it. So that means the spirit would expand and allow that dead footprints in the sand energy go. But if a motherfucker spirit think it is that Holy Ghost, that light, that form, and things of that nature, then the spirit go down with that. And whatever that light is, it's a color spectrum, and it's from brightness to dimness. So it's going to involve with you as a spirit fulfilling whatever that is, to the point that you start to feel, and you feel down. You feel like you don't want to let that go. You feel depressed. You feel spiritually damaged. So you have allowed your spirit to attach itself to a light form, aka what are we creating? Now here's the thing. All these things are forms, and sometimes we create forms for our spirit to go inside of that sometimes may be too small for our spirit. You see what I'm saying? That's like you, for an example, third dimensionally speaking, right? You may have an idea, right? Now your spirit needs to be here. People see you there. People see you doing this. You see yourself having this kind of vision. But let's say you got a small world, aka a small mentality. Your spaceship, the way you think and feel, is very small. You don't see capabilities because you might not have seen things through other people's eyes who have been through more places or more experiences or more relationships than you. So for the most part, you may be in a situation where you may not be able to see your worth, right? Because the form, the thought that you're putting your spirit in is too small for your spirit. So then when you attract others who can actually see more of you than you can actually see for yourself, here where you start to develop nervous energies, resistant energies, because you're scared to expand because it looks very unfamiliar to you. That looks very new to you. That looks very North Nodey to you. So you put yourself into a circumstance where you contract like the water receding. You go back and you stay put and you don't expand to experience those new lights and asteroids and shapes and forms, aka people, places, and things, circumstances, and situations that may be unfamiliar to you, and you don't know if it's playing out good or bad until you experience that. And a lot of times we be too smart for our own good and we pass up on our motherfucking opportunities, and you don't actually expand in your life, and you come up with some extra lost, flunked out ass third dimensional reason on why you think it was the right thing to do, but really you're just stagnating your life, aka once again contracting. So when we think about things like anxiety, right? Now, when you're going into a new portal, a new experience, that's a light form. That's a circumstance. That was a thought and feeling that was on your mind. And when these things came together, you brought it with a 6-pointed star. Both of these things are triangle. You got the fire, the thought. Then you got the before they become air, fire, and then you got the motherfucking emotion before it becomes solid and dense, which would be earth. So that would be water right there. So those are the ones without the lines in it. So you got the fire, water. So once you bring these things together, it makes a 6-pointed star. So it develops care, and whatever matters to you in your life creates a DNA ladder and string itself right into your life as actual things that's part of this matter in this realm of reality. The periodic table, aka what you think people was made out of. So what matters to you, you manifest these circumstances and situations in your life, and everything that's in your life external is made out of the matter that you're in at the moment. Your body is matter. So if you got some flunked out ass things on your thoughts and your feelings that you actually bring together, so you start to care about it like it actually matters in some way, shape, or form, and it's some flunked out shit, guess what type of people, places, and things you getting ready to experience as a circumstance and situation in your life? You see what I'm saying? So when we get into circumstances of dealing with anxiety, right? Now, on a broad scale, anxiety is anytime you're getting ready to experience expansion or going into a new area or a new space when we're all astral traveling as spirits. AKA, you are experiencing something new. So when you're going into a dark area, or you said, like, even when they making video games of that nature, the only way they can make a video game have a form of suspense to it and things of that nature. It has to be no way in, no way out. So it has to play like a maze, or it has to play like a shade, or it has to play like a liminal space or some shit like that, where the distance is limited to your peripheral or your outlook, so you don't know the outcome, so you have to utilize your own imagination on an outcome or a conclusion, and that puts all of our spirits in that energy of men and women are scared of the unknown. So this is like a little Masonic trick also that they be playing out on the world with their movies and televisions and video games and that nature. But this is something that we all create in spaces as a spirit when you're in one transition going to the next transition, but the next transition may not have a destination that you can actually formulate ahead of time. So you get uncomfortable. It builds anxiety. It puts you into a circumstance of wanting to run to something familiar that you can utilize as a tool so you can feel safe and comfortable in that new experience. And a lot of times we may not ever feel fully comfortable to jump into a new experience. So we stay contracting, we stay conceding, and as a spirit, you're never able to expand or experience or take on the opportunities that's actually for you to actually go on to and move on to what the fuck you supposed to move on to, and manifest what the fuck you supposed to manifest, and have the right people, places, and things in your life you supposed to have in your life. So a lot of us just stay stagnated and stay stuck based upon spiritually contracting, and one of these forms of spiritual contracting is anxiety. There's a lot of different forms. Even if we get into Jewish mysticism and things of that nature, a lot of them got words that y'all don't know about or don't know how to hum and things of that nature, because with this bastardized language that we're utilizing right now, there's certain words that we try to use to attack a certain feeling or mode or spiritual travel that we're going through internally, and that word might represent something else. So then when we say that word to express another feeling that word may not necessarily represent to a full maximum potential, for the most part, this is a small form of practicing witchcraft on yourself. You see what I'm saying? And if you're not very choosy to what you're saying, you could be saying something for the sake of a conversation, for the sake of a heartfelt feeling. You could be saying something for the sake of just explaining it to try to get an understanding out of it. But these words and what these words mean that you're trying to use to explain what's actually going on within you is actually clouding the judgment, and redirecting your actual path and blocking off experiences from a subconscious level. And this is what the Masons, shadow government, Catholicism, Vatican, Jesuits, I hate to keep saying their names and things, but Zionists, this is a lot of times they utilize psychology tricks on the average human individual in order to keep practicing operational variables on you guys and things of that nature, and to keep your mind trapped into a magic square to the point that your spirit is inside a body, but you always feel like there's no way out. And then for the most part, when they create the circumstance of putting you into these liminal spaces inside your mentality and things of that nature, they create the circumstances on how to get out. And then they make you go the grave length and separate from an arm, leg, and everything of that nature to go about to even get these things done. You know what I'm saying? To the point we got gain stock and we got the things you have to do just to become successful and all these things. And then for the most part, you figure like, okay, these are the only options in order to find myself out of, and out of what? These magic square. The ability for them to make you believe if you don't have money, if you don't have a job, if you don't got this living condition, if you don't got this circumstance, then there's no way out for your life and you might as well kill yourself. And then for the most part, this is how they've been running the world for the past 2,000 years. But like I said, they got competition now. But at the same time, I'm just giving y'all a broad perspective on the root of the seed of a lot of things. And then for the most part, things grow. Happy Thoth Day, everybody. He Mercury in this motherfucker. He's Tahuti, you know what I'm saying? All this Hermes, whatever the fuck you want to get real murky waters in the sky right now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I'm saying, you know, this is a form of concealing. This is a form of contracting, and your spirit likes to contract and expand and contract. And then for the most part, you have to utilize these things when it's needed. But when you are experiencing anxiety, that means you are contracting at times that's not needed. So you're going to start developing fear, aka your spirit being in a sphere of reality, a bubble that's more familiar, because you're scared of expanding in some way, shape, or form and bursting, popping that bubble and going to a broader experience, aka to have a bigger bubble in, aka third dimensionally speaking, having more awareness about something. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, where you're not actually naked when you go into that area and experiencing too much of the small percentage level of being unaware or unconscious, because we experience all these three levels simultaneously, because this is what we are creating to exist as spirits and things of that nature. So we understand certain things of loops that we're going through when we didn't exist, and going back to that area of existence with a light, with a form of existence. And now we're shedding light into dark areas, and it's developing into expansion, being aware, intelligence, knowledge. But knowledge can lead to not having a ledge. And then once you try to know everything, you never have a ground basis to what the fuck you mean. You never have a ground basis to what the fuck makes sense to you. You never have a ground basis. So you're falling in some type of abyss, some type of holy. You see what I'm saying? But anxiety can lead into all of that. And anxiety is just one example of your spirit contracting in some way, shape, or form, and having fears, aka spheres of realities that it doesn't like to get out of because it represents familiarity, right? And when you are an individual that's a spirit that's scared to experience, you develop fear in some way, shape, or form, aka spheres, a whole bunch of spaceships and bubbles that you could jump into that has a whole bunch of memories and familiarities and spirits. Once you be into that space for a long period of time, you manifest that circumstance and situation, because that's what we do. So when you in one energy frequency vibration for a large period of time, you manifest that. So you manifest more familiarity, you know what I'm saying, more security, more safety, but you also manifest more stagnation, more excuses for why you don't want to expand. That would be the negative attribute of it. So keep that in mind. And anxiety is just one of the attributes, and there's many others. And I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. So if you're dealing with anxiety and you have harsh anxiety issues and problems and things of that nature, you need to reach the bubbles in your life that you jump into that's fulfilled with so much familiarity, inner securities, aka insecurities, and things you have developed to make it feel like this is the safe thing to do anytime I'm getting ready to experience a person, place, or thing, circumstance, or situation that's outside of my internal existence in some way, shape, or form. Aka, we got to get out of these motherfucking esoteric houses, stop being asleep, and get out of your motherfucking bubble. And don't be afraid to do that, because there's going to come a time in your life where something from the external world busts that bubble anyway, and you're going to be forced to be the little birdie, to be kicked off the nest, to learn how to motherfucker fly into any unknown arena or territory or parameter, esoterically speaking. And I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. You better believe that.